Wow. This definitely aged well. That definitely aged well. Look at that. Wow, man. I don't know what to say, guys.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. Le'Veon Bell. I don't know what to say, man. I mean, we all know this whole situation. Before we get directly into this video, man, I just want to let you guys know that this is not necessarily a hate video on Bell. This is not some sort of iDubbbz content cop video where we expose Bell. This is none of that. This is just a pure video on Bell, basically going over his history with the Steelers and basically the rise and the fall and giving our opinions on it and, shit like that. As you guys know, we drafted Le'Veon Bell in the second round in 2013 NFL Draft. There were a lot of Steelers fans. There were a lot of critics about that pick because many people wanted a cheeseburger Eddie Lacy over Le'Veon Bell. And, looking back on it, honestly, after everything that's happened, I still wouldn't change it because, looking at Le'Veon Bell, the player, I have to respect, love, and appreciate everything he did for the Steelers organization. Mm-hmm. I do. I'm going to aside from the player Le'Veon Bell and the person Le'Veon Bell. The player I love. The player.
So what he's done for this team ever since being drafted to us, ever since being a part of us, I can appreciate what he's done for us. The amount of, especially like in the Chargers game, the amount of games he's won for us, like the Chargers game, when Michael Vick stepped in for an injured Ben, that game.
You look at his Bills game in 2016. You look at his playoff streak in 2016 as well against the Dolphins and the Chiefs before he got injured against the Pats or the Patriots, of course. Everything. His history, his records, and his
everything that he's done for Pittsburgh, for the Steelers, it's greatly appreciated. I'll always appreciate that of Le'Veon Bell, the player.
Yeah.
But the person, I can't stand.
Yeah.
The person is a complete disgrace of what this logo represents.
Yes.
He is a disgrace of what this logo represents. Not only, well, maybe as a player, but as a person, definitely.
As a person, yes. As a player, man, like we said, we absolutely love, respect, appreciate, and will forever remember everything that he did on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. You can't take anything away from that.
You can't.
Le'Veon Bell, as a player, in our honest opinion, we said it multiple times that he was the best running back in the league. And if you look at it, in terms of talent, I'm not saying he is the best running back of all time for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but if you look at it in terms of talent, he is probably the most talented Steelers running back of all time. Mm-hmm. In terms of versatility, in terms of impact, in terms of dominance, in terms of yardage, in terms of everything, man.
Running, catching, blocking, doing whatever you would ask Le'Veon Bell to do on that field, he would do it.
The records he holds for the Steelers, man, will never be taken away. I mean, they could be. Well, they'll never be forgotten, but they definitely could be broken. I don't know by who, but
maybe even Connor.
Maybe
we don't know, but
and we'll get into Connor later in the video. But we just wanna give our respects and our love and our appreciation to Le'Veon Bell, the player, for everything he did, man. His great run against the Browns in Week 1 in 2014. His great run against the Panthers in 2014. I think that was week 3, week 4, I believe.
I think so. I can't remember.
And of course, his incredible streak he had in 2014. That great Monday Night Football game he had against the Titans in 2014, man. 2015, before he got injured, he was and before he got suspended, and we'll get into the suspensions later in the video as well. But when he came in, you could tell there was a shot of adrenaline for this offense when Bell came in.
For this entire team.
But you also can't forget who stepped in before Le'Veon Bell, and we'll get into that as well. Because, we're going to come in with a bunch of facts, a bunch of evidence of that, hey, we love Bell, we appreciate everything he did, but we don't need him. He can walk.
Now, there's no denying that we are a better team with Bell. There's no denying that.
We are.
But there's also, I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's also no denying that we don't need Bell to succeed.
Yes. Our offense is a lot more dominant without Bell. We are not denying that. But do we need him to succeed? No. And
No, we don't.
if you look at stats in history, us without Bell, although we say that it does look more dominant, but if you look at stats in history, us without Bell is much better.
And that's actually surprising if you think about it, because the caliber player like Le'Veon Bell, you figured that you get more points, with Bell than without.
Right. And we're not taking anything away from Bell. We're not taking anything that he has done for us away from him, because we're not. You can't take anything that away from Bell, what he did on the field. You can't take anything. You can't take any of that away. But if you look at stats, man, I mean, we are much more superior and inferior without Bell. I mean, I actually, I think I did, like a 30-minute research myself. I did my own little research, man. I mean, I'm no analyst. I'm no sports guy, or I'm a sports guy, but I'm not a sports analyst or an expert or anything. But I did my own expert stats and in-depth detail, man. So, we're gonna go down the line for the years, man. 2014, when Bell got injured during the Week 17 Bengals versus Steelers Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football game, we released LeGarrette Blount earlier that year because he was upset that he didn't get any carries in the Titans game Monday Night Football when Bell had that over 206-yard game. I mean, sure, we could have given him carries, but when Bell's going off, I mean, of course, we're not going to take Bell off the field.
We're not going to bench that.
Right. And I don't know why Blount was so fucking pissed off about that. I mean, he was more selfish about himself than the team.
Yeah.
And you could say that about Bell right now as well.
And because of that, we released him, which, in my opinion, I can understand why, because it possibly would have been a distraction from the games. But
yes.
in my opinion, I felt like that was a bad mistake, because because Bell did get injured in Week 17. But if we had Blount at the time, then I think our rushing offense still could have been just as dynamic with Bell.
Yeah, because, I mean, look at what Blount did after he left Pittsburgh, man. He was with the Patriots, and that speaks for itself. And what he did with Philly last year helped them win the Super Bowl and everything.
Exactly.
So, and honestly, if we were going to do something with Blount, we definitely should have fined him or suspended him a game or two for his actions.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we should have released him.
Right. Because looking at Blount, I mean, he definitely still had a lot in the tank, and he would have been a great power back.
Yeah, because him and Bell were looking to be a dynamic freaking duo.
Right. But at the same time, if you look at what they did prior to the 2014 season, which we'll also get to later in the video, it's not really a good mix off the field, but on the field it could have been.
Yeah.
So,
but because of Bell getting injured and us getting rid of LeGarrette Blount, we brought in Ben Tate, a former Cleveland Brown and Houston Texan, who, by the way, didn't live up to his second-round potential. What the fuck's going on?
And I didn't even know who the fuck this guy was when we picked him up. I'm like, who?
Yeah, Ben
Is he
Tate.
a guy on the practice squad?
And we signed him because we didn't have any experienced running backs at the time to fill in for Bell, so that's why we signed Ben Tate.
Right. I mean, we had Dree Archer, but I mean, he was a fucking third-round bust. We had Josh Harris, but he was completely unproven. So we had to sign someone, Ben Tate, and like you said, he didn't live up to the second-round potential. So there's not really much that he could have done for us in the limited time that he was given.
And he didn't do anything against that Ravens game, which, by the way, we lost in the wild card round to the Ravens that year. And because of that, we learned our lesson because of that game. Because of us getting rid of Blount, signing Tate, and Tate didn't do anything because of Bell possibly getting injured, we would need a caliber, good backup running back to fill in for Bell. So what we did was we went into free agency and signed DeAngelo Williams from the Carolina Panthers.
Yes. And, I remember at that time, many people were saying, what the fuck, you released Blount but signed a washed-up DeAngelo Williams. And key word, washed up. Bell was suspended the first 2 games of the season and received an MCL tear versus the Bengals later that year, and he was out for the year because of that, unfortunately. We went 1-1, and of course we lost to the Patriots week 1, and we beat the 49ers week 2.
When DeAngelo Williams stepped in for Bell until he came back from a suspension.
D-Will having great performances in each game and rushing for 907 rushing yards and 11 rushing touchdowns at age 32, and I find it very ironic how we're talking about Bell being injured and there's an ambulance outside our fucking house. So, but yeah, he had 907 rushing yards and 11 rushing touchdowns at age 32. Remember, this is someone that many people thought was washed up. And we finished 7-3 overall without Bell that year and finished with the 16th best rushing offense. But that's mostly due because of our very successful passing game with Brown and Bryant and Wheaton and Hayward Bay, and Heath. in his last year.
Exactly.
I miss Heath, by the way.
Yeah, it's goddamn Heath.
But
32-year-old DeAngelo Williams having almost 1,000 rushing yards, 11 rushing touchdowns. I think he only started 10 games that year too.
Yeah, he did.
10 games, and he put up those amount of stats as a backup. 32-year-old running back doing it. How many 32-year-old running backs do you see put up those type of numbers?
Not many.
Very freaking rare.
Barely Frank Gore is doing that nowadays. So, and DeAngelo Williams, who was dealing with injuries before that, I mean, come on, man. So, and DeAngelo Williams, unfortunately, he got hurt before the Bengals wild card game, which that was obviously a hectic game. But because of that, Jordan Todman and Fitzgerald Toussaint, Fumble Fitz, came in and rushed for 123 rushing yards combined, as well as a 44-yard rush from Martavis Bryant.
In that game.
Overall, that was 167 rushing yards against the 7th best rushing defense versus the Bengals. Without Bell.
And DeAngelo Williams as well. Jordan Todman and Fitzgerald Toussaint. Who the hell are those type of running backs?
Remember, I believe that was an away game as well.
Yes, it was. It was in Cincinnati in that wildcard game.
And the Steelers finished 10-6 and made it to the AFC divisional round, nearly beating the eventual Super Bowl 50 champions, of course, the Denver Broncos.
And the rushing game in that game wasn't that bad either. It was just because of Fumble Fist that kind of fucked us over in that game.
Now, if Bell was in there, would he have fumbled? We don't
know.
It's arguable.
It's possibly not. We don't know.
But we
don't know. Maybe even DeAngelo Williams. We don't know that.
Right, but with DeMarcus Ware, and the way he hit that ball, who's to say that Bell wouldn't have fumbled?
Exactly. A guy like DeMarcus Ware, having an eye for the ball, it's hard to not fumble.
Right, and the thing is, we almost remember the Denver Broncos were being considered the best defense of all time, which I find that kind of weird.
Yeah.
But at that point, they were the #1 defense in the league. We almost beat them without Bell and DeAngelo Williams.
Yeah, which goes to show you that no matter who's behind our offensive line, we groom good running backs.
Yes.
We always have talented running backs behind that offensive line, and they can do something.
Exactly.
They can't put up stats like a freaking LaDainian Tomlinson would that 2006?
2006.
2007 year? I think it was 2006. They can't put up numbers like that, but they can produce in a way. They can try to help us win the game.
Right, exactly. And heading into the next year, 2016, when Bell was suspended the first 3 games of the season.
And again, he got sususpended for a second freaking time. You figure he learned from the first time.
And that's the thing, man. And before we get back into this, many we saw thousands of comments and tweets and replies and everything saying that, what the fuck, the Steelers are so fucking stupid, just pay the man. How the hell can we pay someone who is untrustworthy off the field, always suspended, always injured, and is aging? Especially with the run style that he has, of course he's going to get bruised. And we offered, 5 years, $60 million, with $45 million guaranteed in his first 3 years? I'm sorry, I think that is perfect. 15 a year.
That's freaking enough. That's $15 million. That is quite enough for Le'Veon Bell. What kind of idiot would turn that type of money down?
And the way I see it, he only had 3 years left in his prime anyway. So would you want to overpay someone who's not going to play at the caliber level that he would in his prior years?
Seriously, would you want to risk your entire team, the entire future of your Pittsburgh Steelers for one man that's only going to get washed up in about a year or two?
Exactly.
Like, come on.
And you got to think suspensions and injuries have to come into effect with that.
And they did. They did.
And, we gave, I think what we offered Bell in 2016 and 2017 was more than enough than what he needed. Now, it's arguable that he definitely deserved a lot more, but after everything that he put the Steelers organization through and how we backed him up through everything and even the fans, and he still turned down an offer, and he didn't even show up this year.
That's playing disfreaking respect to not only the coaches, but the organization and the fans
and the teammates, man. And the fact that he said that he was going to show up week 1 and he didn't. He lied to his teammates. And you know why he lied to his teammates? To conserve his own body for a new team and a new contract next year, which tells me that he is extremely fucking selfish and only cares about himself and not the Steelers and not the players and not the organization and not the fan base and not the fact that we are so close to winning number 7, and he only cares about himself and his contract and his own well-being for next year. So, Bell, the person, you are dead to me. And I'm sorry for going on that rant when we have this shit to talk about, but that goes to show you what Le'Veon Bell the person really is.
Because the suspensions and injuries, they played a factor into the contract. And the fact that he is a greedy freaking bastard.
And the thing about the Steelers is that they never give players this, they never throw any player all this guaranteed money. You know, they have this. I can't remember what the hell it's called, but they usually convert some of their they convert some of their cap into guaranteed money throughout the contract, which not only gives them more guaranteed money, but it saves more cap space for the Steelers that specific year. It's such a smart way to save cap space and to give players guaranteed money that they deserve. Well, I think we deal with the Castro and Pouncey and Hayward and Segier this year, and even Brown. We always, it's such a great way to do business and to save cap space and save money for this organization, man. Bell, unfortunately, doesn't know about that.
Sadly. Again, like, our players, especially the offensive line, literally took away their own hard-earned money for this guy, and he still didn't agree to a deal.
And the thing is that, honestly, and I love Le'Veon Bell as a player, but if it wasn't for our great offensive line, specifically, if it wasn't for Mike Munchak fixing this offensive line, Le'Veon Bell, his run style would not be existent. You know, and I want to give a huge shout out to the Steal Your Injuries podcast, man. Justin Ottstock, huge shout out to you, man. He always said that if he wanted more money, he should have changed his position, which I honestly agree because, you know, we all know that after he gets past the offensive line, he is a fucking lightning beam. So if he moved to receiver and did short routes like slants and drags and flats and stuff like that, we all know how explosive Bell is after he gets past the offensive line. Imagine him switching to a receiver, catching them short passes, and still getting amazing rack yards. He could have been a great wide receiver. You know, I don't think he would have made those phenomenal catches that you see Antonio Brown and Odell and DeAndre Hopkins and Randy Moss and Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice make. But in terms of rack yards, he could have been phenomenal, man. You know, those short routes and the fact that he's a lightning beam after he gets the ball in his hands, he could have been a phenomenal fucking rack yard receiver.
Exactly.
You know, if it wasn't for our offensive line, his run style wouldn't be existent. So the way I see it, if he's going to go to a new team, which he obviously, he probably is.
Most likely he is.
I know
we're not putting that transition tag on. We're not giving him $25 million freaking dollars. That's the way he's been acting.
We would be so fucking stupid to do that because one, we don't have the cap space to give him what he had, and that's another thing, man. You know, we didn't have the cap space to give Bell what he wants, but what we offered was perfect for him, and it fit us. It worked for us and our salary cap, and how we would have transitioned some of his salary cap into guaranteed money would have saved us salary cap as well. You know, I'm not big on the whole salary cap and financial type thing, but I know how the Steelers work on contracts and everything like that. But you know, if it wasn't for offensive line, basically what I'm saying that if he goes to another team, which he more likely is, he should become a receiver. Because if he goes to a team like the Jets or the Colts or the Lions, they're not going to have an offensive line good enough for his fucking patient run style. No. That's why he needs to change into a receiver and catch those short passes, and then he'll be that same lightning beam type runner. And that's where we could have used him if he returned to be that number 3 receiver for us, and we keep James Conner in the backfield. But you know what? He didn't show up, and that's fucking sad, man. But back onto this, 2016, Bell was suspended the first 3 games of the season, and D-Will rushed for 258 rushing yards, which I believe was first in the league, by the way.
Yes, it was.
And went 2-1 in those first 3 games, and D-Will having great performances in the first 2 games as well. So not too bad for a 33-year-old washed-up backup running back.
Seriously.
You know, Bell would obviously stay healthy and stay clean for the remainder of the year, and the Steelers finished 11-5 that year, which is good, of course. So,
yeah.
But you know, and that's another thing about his contract, man. You know, because he never stayed clean, he never stayed healthy. He barely had a full, complete, healthy, clean season. 2017 was his first full season that he ever completed with no suspensions and no injuries. So, and then remember, that's the first time in his career in 5 years?
Yeah.
So do you want to pay this guy quarterback money when he's only completed 1 full season? You know, he can barely stay healthy, he can barely stay clean. And because of that, in 2017, there it is. Bell would complete his first full season with no injuries in 2017. And due to James Conner being, quote-unquote, out of shape, according to Mike Tomlin, but looking at what James Conner is doing now, I think we definitely could have used him last year, and it could have helped our rushing offense more.
I think so.
But because he was out of shape, according to Mike Tomlin, Bell got most of the reps as expected, and the Steelers finished 13-3, and of course went 1-done, unfortunately, against the goddamn Jacksonville Jaguars in the divisional round at home.
Yeah, but the 2007 season, like you said, Bell completed his first ever season fully healthy, full on I would say 16 games, but he sat against the Browns the last game.
But still,
he played his full season.
Yes.
Full healthy season. No suspensions, no injuries. So, do you really want to try to sign him long term and really risk him getting suspended again and injured again?
Yeah.
And giving him all that money and he's just going to be sitting on the money while he's injured or suspended?
Yes.
Like, I don't think so. No, that's not how I would do business.
And you have to look at what fucking DeAngelo Williams did when he stepped in for Bell, when he was suspended and injured. DeAngelo Williams, 32 and 33 years old, washed up. Back up.
And he produced numbers right out of his freaking ass.
And you look at what James Conner is doing right now. He's more likely going to have a 1,000-yard season in his second year. And he was, quote-unquote, out of shape, according to Mike Tomlin last year.
And filling in for a running back, a caliber running back like Le'Veon Bell, and putting up stats like this. It's absolutely fantastic. Fantastic of James Conner.
It is. And another thing we want to get into here is, and I gotta tell you, man, Le'Veon Bell, I mean...
And this all started, this offseason. This offseason. With him saying how he's going to show up for week 1. He's sorry he couldn't come to agreement. He wants to stay a Steeler. He wants to retire a Steeler for the rest. He wants to be a Steeler for the rest of his life, basically.
And that's what he says here in these...
And obviously he's not showing up. He has yet to freaking practice with his goddamn teammates.
Just because he wants to conserve his body for a new team and a new contract next year, instead of focusing on the team that he said on the team that he said he would because right here. It says it right here. What the fuck? There it is. It says it right here. Oh, I fucked up. Okay. He said, and then this was from February 17th, 2016. And I quote, "Juice is in the building. Love Coach T to death. Wouldn't want to play for no other coach or play in any other city." Yeah, he said now all fucking year. And like I said, this is not some sort of exposed or hate video on Bell. It's really, it may look like it, but it's really not.
But the tweets that he put out this offseason saying he wants to stay a Steeler, he wants to retire Steeler, and then him doing shit like this. He even said farewell, which he spelled farewell wrong. He said farewell Miami on Twitter, and he came to Pittsburgh, and he still ain't gonna show up according to reports.
So what the fuck are you in Pittsburgh for? Are you trying to resemble Cheeseburger Eddie with Permane Brothers sandwiches, or what the fuck are you doing? Are you trying to be the first player to revise a Pittsburgh basketball team? Like, what the fuck
I don't
are
get
you
it.
doing?
I don't get what Bell's doing. And then tweets from way back, back in his Michigan State days, came out. And this is just pretty hypocritical of what Le'Veon Bell is doing right now.
Yeah, you talk about shooting yourself in the goddamn foot, man. You talk about idiotic. You talk about ironic. You talk about being hypocritical.
And we found a couple tweets, and we're going to read you two of them right now.
And again, this is not an exposed video. This is not a hate video. But the mindset that Bell had years ago compared to now, what happened to him?
Exactly.
You know what they say? Money talks, I guess.
Fame got to his freaking head.
Yeah, and here's a few tweets from Bell. This is from February 13th, 2013. If you could sit out a year of a sport you play and you're not injured or something else is preventing you to play, then you don't love it! Exclamation point. Wow.
Wow, okay, Bell.
It gets worse, folks. It gets worse. I'm not in it for fame or money. I just want to be legendary. Well, you're legendary, all right. I mean,
you're wrong freaking way, bro.
Yeah.
Wrong freaking way.
I'm not in it for fame or money. And this is from, God damn, remember, this is from Le'Veon Bell's official Twitter, at Le'Veon Bell with the verified, check next to his name and with his current profile picture.
These days we're back from his Michigan State and his early days in Pittsburgh.
Yes. This is from November 14th, 2011. Wow. Next one. If you play this game for money and or fame, then you're playing for the wrong reason. I love this game first, then everything else. This is from July 31st, 2012. He also put hashtag football at the end of at the tweet.
Also, you love this game first. So why the fuck are you not on that goddamn field?
Good question. That is a good question, man. And We also have another thing here with.
As a matter of fact, hold on. I think there's one more tweet. I think so. I don't know yet. Yeah, right here. One more tweet, and this is from April 8th, 2014. Okay, listen to this. This is the grand finale, okay? This is from Le'Veon Bell's official Twitter, and I quote, "I can care less about the fame or the money." Yeah, sure. "I just want to be remembered as the best. Forget everything else. People disrespectful to this game."
Oh, goddamn.
Talk about shooting yourself in the goddamn foot. Talk about being so freaking hypocritical right now. People disrespectful to this game. Look what the fuck you're doing right now, Le'Veon.
Where is this mindset? Bell, what happened to this Bell? What happened to the Bell where I'm going to show up week 1? You know, I love Steelers Nation.
I love Coach T. I wouldn't want to play for any other team. I want to stay in Pittsburgh. I want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know, if you're in it for the money or the fame, you're in it for the wrong reason and shit like that. Where did that mindset go? It's like looking at that or thinking of that Bell and looking at this Bell. It's like a damn clone. It's like a, remember Family Guy with Stewie when he created an evil clone of himself, and then you have this nice cuddly Stewie, and then you have this evil Stewie that chopped off Brian's tail and made Stewie evil.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like it's a completely different Le'Veon Bell. It's like where's the Le'Veon Bell of old? Where is this kind, nice, passionate player of football Le'Veon Bell?
It's vastly different. Like, where did this mindset go? Where did this Le'Veon Bell go? And honestly, it's very sad to think, when you really, really, really just sit down and think about it. You think about Bell's rise, man. You think about him being a fucking staple for this offense and being considered the best running back in the league. And then you see what he's doing now, man. It's like, it's sad.
If you think about it, it really is sad,
But at the same time,
because he's greedy, he's a jagoff.
That's the thing, though. This is a very sad story, but it's really his fucking doing.
It's his fault.
It's his doing.
It's not the Steelers' fault because we've tried to pay him.
Yeah, twice.
And he's denied twice. This is his own doing. If he just accepted the contract that we offered him, then he wouldn't be in this predicament right now.
Yeah.
He would not.
And we're not here to play the blame game. We're not here to point the finger, but this is his doing. It's so sad to really think about 2014, man. You think that great season he had, especially towards the end of the year, man. The second half of the year, he went off. 2015, when he came back from suspension, he was on pace to have another great year. And then he unfortunately got injured.
And in 2016, he came back from suspension and put up numbers,
out of this world. And then you look at what he did in the playoffs. Then you look at 2017. He had a phenomenal season, and then fame and money got to him, and his career is done. It may not be done, but in terms of almost being done, it's almost done.
It really is. If you think about it,
he's going to sign a much lower offered contract with a very garbage team, and he's going to have a very awful performance more than likely, and reality's going to hit him hard in the face. It's going to slap him hard in the face. It's going to be like, God damn, man, what the fuck happened to me? And I hope that's the case.
That's what I'm hoping. I hope he freaking wises up. I'm hoping that he freaking, I don't even know the term because I'm disappointed in Le'Veon Bell. Because I love Le'Veon Bell. I love the player, but the person, I despise the person of Le'Veon Bell. What he's doing to this city, to this organization, to the coaches, to the fans, to his teammates. It's absolutely freaking disrespectful.
It does not resemble what a Pittsburgh Steeler is.
It does not resemble what a football player should be.
He is nothing but Mike Wallace 2.0. And look what Mike Wallace did after Pittsburgh. Where'd he go? Miami. Did not. He got that big contract that he thought he deserved. He did nothing. And where'd he go? He went to what? The Vikings?
Did nothing. God. Did with Baltimore, didn't do much.
He's with the Eagles right now. He's a fucking bench player.
I mean, he's injured right now. He's on IR, but for most of the time, he was a bench player until he got injured.
Yes, but you look at Mike Wallace, man. Ben completely made Mike Wallace. Ben should have gotten every single dime that Mike Wallace made. Because if it wasn't for Ben making Mike Wallace, Mike Wallace would never have gotten that big contract. He never would have been a name in the NFL, in my honest opinion.
I don't think so.
He was nothing but speed and a nice deep threat. After that, he was nothing. And the same thing is happening with Bell. Bell is drastically much more different, more talented.
Yeah, and
we're
we're not saying Ben made Bell, but the line made Bell.
Yeah.
If he goes to another team, like you said, the Colts, the Jets, wherever, he ain't going. That run style is going to be freaking gone.
Yes.
It's going to freaking vanish into thin air.
It is.
That run style is going to be non-existent.
It is. That's why he needs to change to a receiver. And going back on how. Because we've been saying it for a while now, man. We've been saying it for a while that we don't need Bell to succeed. And we have stats here. I mean, this was from a few weeks ago, and I am pretty sure that our stats without Bell are definitely much more increased now.
Yeah.
Let's look at the stats with Bell. Remember, this is a few weeks ago. Stats with Bell. Win-loss record, 23-10. Points per game, 23.9. Total yards per game, 368.6. Passing yards per game, 255.8. Third down percentage, 40.8.
Now,
Bell without, remember this is since 2015.
Yeah, without Bell, 11-4-1 for win-loss record. Points per game, 28.8. Total yards per game, 415.3. Passing yards per game, 316.1. And third down completion percentage, 43.1.
But we need Bell.
We need Bell to succeed. We need Bell to win, huh?
Now, would Bell in this current offense with James Conner, would it be absolutely, would it make this offense stronger? Yes.
Absolutely.
But who do you have the blame for not showing up? Le'Veon Bell himself. He's in Pittsburgh as we speak. He's probably a few miles from the Steelers facility. But instead he's playing basketball. Change the sport. Change the position. Be a goddamn point guard.
The basketball thing. The first thing he did was play basketball. He didn't come to the facility and say, "Hey, I'm here to sign the tag. I'm here to play."
But basketball is a good place to get him back in shape.
I get that.
If you're not gonna play.
Seriously.
You know, and remember those stats that we just talked about. You know, I'm sure that's much better than what it is now.
Yeah. I'm
With
sure.
James
The way Connor has been performing, he's going to continue to do that.
He is the future of the running back position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no doubt in my mind anymore. There should be no doubt in anybody's mind after what he has been doing.
And we've said it several times. There's nothing stopping Connor.
There was the
only one that could stop Connor is Bell, but Bell's doing it. Bell's not doing a goddamn thing.
Bell did nothing but give Connor the job. And, you know, you could say that James Conner should definitely be thanking Le'Veon Bell for the opportunity or for the fact that he gave him the job. You know, that could be very true. But, you know, the way I see it, Bell probably wouldn't have accepted any other contract after we got, so we probably would have left no matter what, or we probably would have traded him, and Conner still would have performed at the same level.
Oh, yeah.
Now, yes, you could still say James Conner could thank Le'Veon Bell, but, you know. And here's the thing, man. Le'Veon Bell, like we said, is probably the most talented running back in Pittsburgh Steelers history. And look how easily replaceable he is and was.
I mean, it's an old saying in the NFL. Running backs are easily replaceable.
They are.
Look what the heck Connor is doing in place for Le'Veon Bell.
This guy is in his second fucking year in the NFL.
And he's already in NFL, not only just Steelers history, but NFL history.
Running backs are easily replaceable. For those that were saying, and I don't mean to, you know, curse here. I don't mean to shout you guys out, but for the Bell ball lickers who thought that, you know, we couldn't thrive without Bell, and how we couldn't survive without Bell, and how this offense would be nothing without Bell, and how Bell is completely irreplaceable. Connor made you eat your words, and I am more than glad that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Connor's blown everyone out of proportion, and because of that, I have to get a James Conner. I don't know why I didn't get it when he was first drafted.
Oh, seriously, I'm getting a James Conner jersey, you know, immediately once I get my first.
And because of that, I don't want to get ahead of myself. If we win the Super Bowl this year, I am wearing a James Conner jersey. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. If we win the Super Bowl this year, just remember, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to jinx anything. If we win the Super Bowl this year, I want you guys to remember, we did it without Le'Veon Bell.
Enough said.
I think that's all I got to say, man.
Enough said.
And I think we have all the potential in the world to do so.
You know, Bell, basically, yeah. Bell, it's been fun, but fuck off. We don't need you.
I love you as a player.
Go. Yeah, so do I. But
I love you as a player. I respect and love and will forever appreciate all the great memories and all the great games, all the great performances, and everything you did on the field for the Steelers. But in terms of personality, you're dead to me, man. You're dead to this, to everything, man.
To Steelers Nation. You're dead to absolutely every fan that appreciated you, that loved you. You just.
I mean, we're not speaking for those fans, but
no, but I'm pretty sure that those fans still, feel the same way that we do. I'm sure. I'm not sure. Well, I don't know.
We can't really tell that, but yeah, I mean, to us.
What we can tell is that everyone does not like Bell right now.
If you're not on the Connor hype train or the Connor bandwagon, you need to get on immediately, because Connor is fucking crazy right now.
Seriously.
I think that's all I gotta say, man. Love you on Bell. I love you. I respect you as a player. I appreciate you as a player, as a person. I mean, go back to your studio and be a mumbling rapper. I think that's the only success you'll find outside of Pittsburgh. You may get your $40 million guaranteed in some other garbage organization that is stupid enough to pay you all this fucking money that you don't deserve. But outside of that, are you going to succeed? Are you going to be worthy of that contract?
Probably not.
You don't know how good you got it here at Pittsburgh, man. You have a Hall of Fame quarterback. You have a Hall of Fame wide receiver. You have the best offensive line in the goddamn league. And yes, I said best because it is. With Mike Munchak, we should get really with wow. With what we wow, that's a major starter. With what
Bell has surrendered. He surrendered over $8.5 million and $200,000 in benefits. He's only going to forfeit even more. With that amount of money that he's surrendered to us, we can use that to extend Mike Munchak, Juju Smith-Schuster maybe, Mike Hilton.
Give all that money to Mike Munchak, James Conner, and Mike Hilton, and of course Juju, and whoever down the line that we need to resign.
Because those guys are definitely worth every dime.
Yeah. Man, Bell has no idea how good he got it, man. He really does not. It's an old saying. It's fucking proven. When you leave Pittsburgh, you are not the same. Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, Martavis Bryant,
Marcus Wheaton.
You can say the same for what the fuck's his name? He's a goddamn receiver. I can't remember his name. Plaxico Burress. I mean, sure, he won a Super Bowl, but in terms of stats, he wasn't really the same. History proves over and over again, when you leave Pittsburgh, you're not the same.
Nope.
Bell?
You really don't know what you got in Pittsburgh until you leave, and apparently Bell's another freaking player in that freaking history book.
Bell, farewell. It was fun. It was really fun. Connor, come on down.
That's the video, guys. That's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye, Bell. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!